Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18. This is Nation 5 with me, Poonam Burde. Let's get you started on this edition with the headlines. All eyes on big bilateral between India and Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin to land in Delhi tomorrow. Trade talks, defense deals and mutual cooperation on agenda. Amid controversy, government withdraws mandatory Sanchar Sathi pre-installation, cites surge in voluntary update. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says Nehru sought public funds to rebuild Babri Mosque but was stopped by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Congress calls it a lie. BJP cites a book to back Rajnath Singh's claim. Even as EC says no dead or untraceable voters found in 400 plus polling booths in West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee scales up her anti-SIR drive in Malda, Murshidabad and Cooch Behar. Prime Minister Modi meets MPs from Bengal in Parliament, seeks feedback on the SIR exercise, says it ensures only eligible voters are included. Opposition MPs enter Parliament wearing gas masks to protest against air pollution, ask Prime Minister Modi to take the lead in tackling the crisis. Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy insults Hindu gods, then remains defiant, claims remark was taken out of context. BJP and Hindu groups lodge protest. Back-to-back centuries for Virat Kohli as former skipper hits 102 in 93 balls in the second ODI against South Africa in Raipur. Russian President Vladimir Putin is all set to arrive in Delhi on Thursday, that is tomorrow. This is his first visit to India since the Ukraine war began almost 4 years ago. He will be holding key bilateral meetings with Prime Minister Modi. There are several defense agreements that are high on agenda. But will this go beyond just defense? That's something that is being looked at by analysts as well. CNN News 18 has learned that as per President Putin's tentative plan, he will be arriving tomorrow evening, heading straight to 7 LKM, where there will be restricted talks that are held between him and Prime Minister Modi, followed by a private dinner that Prime Minister Modi will host for him. The next morning, which is Friday morning, he's scheduled to visit Rajghat, a ceremonial welcome then at Rashtrapati Bhavan, followed by delegation-level talks at the Hyderabad House between President Putin and Prime Minister Modi. Meanwhile, Russia is all set and is keen on taking ties with India to the next level. Kremlin spokesperson, in fact, has said that discussions as far as defense deals go may include the S-400 systems or the S-500, which is an upgrade of the S-400 that Russia seems to be keen on pushing. He added that despite tariff pressures, Moscow remains committed to protecting strategic trade ties with India.
Мы нацелены вывести сотрудничество с Китайской Народной Республикой и с Республикой Индия на качественно новый уровень с усилением его технологической составляющей. На это нацелено множество совместных проектов в энергетике, в промышленности, космосе, сельском хозяйстве и так далее. По вопросам экономической повестки у нас выстроен содержательный диалог с председателем Китайской Народной Республики господином Си Цзиньпинем. Также подробно будем обсуждать эти темы в ходе предстоящего визита в Индию с премьер-министром господином Нарендрой Моди, включая увеличение импорта индийских товаров на наш рынок.
Well, as far as ties between India and Russia are concerned, is it going to be taken from a privileged special relationship to a no-limits relationship like the one that Russia and China share? That's something that everyone's looking at. But before we get into the business aspect of it and what the two leaders will talk about, here's a sneak peek of what awaits the Russian president when he touches down in Delhi. This is an opulent suite at a 5-star hotel in New Delhi where he is going to be staying. This is going to be the home for Russian President Vladimir Putin when he is in India for this 24-hour visit. This is a mini mansion, as many would call it. It's the presidential suite on the 14th floor of ITC Moria in the national capital. This presidential suite is over 4,800 square feet. There's not just a bedroom, there's a living room, there's a reception area, there's a study in the suite as well. It's called as a mini mansion because it boasts of a spa and a gymnasium too. There's a private business courtyard. There's a summit lounge that's right outside, which gives you a glimpse of what the cityscape looks like. Silk panel walls, dark wood flooring are what would welcome, the delegation would welcome President Putin when he steps foot inside that presidential suite. What's also interesting is that he can hold an entire delegation of his for dinner. He can host them there because there's a peacock-themed 12-seater private dining room as well in this presidential suite at ITC Moria, which is going to be Putin's home for the 24 hours that he is going to be in India. He's not the first head of state who is going to be staying at this opulent suite. We've had several other world leaders, including US Presidents Barack Obama and most recently President Donald Trump, who've also stayed in this particular presidential suite. Akanksha, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Akanksha, there's a lot to look forward to as far as President Putin's visit to Delhi is concerned. That happens tomorrow at about 5 or 6 p.m. is when we are expecting him to touch down. And it's an action-packed 24 hours for him.
He is going to be, because remember, it's not just going to be President Putin, but he'll be accompanied by a huge business delegation as well. The fact that this is going to be a state visit only goes on to underline the importance that India is placing on this bilateral relationship. Remember, prior to the war in Ukraine is when President Putin had visited New Delhi, and that was a summit-level visit. And the fact that this time around it will not just be Prime Minister Modi, but the Indian President Srimati Draupadi Murmu, who will be hosting him, only underlines or rather underscores the importance of this time-tested strategic partnership, one that dates back all the way to India's own independence struggle, or even say the 1971 India-Pakistan war, when Task Force 74 had been provided by Russia. This when HMS Eagle had been deployed by the United Kingdom in the Bay of Bengal. It was Russia that jumped to our rescue. So whether it is say our strategic partnership, the defense cooperation, even people-to-people ties, the love that Russia has for Bollywood and especially Raj Kapoor films is an open secret. But this is a relationship that is going to go beyond the fact that Donald Trump's tariff and that mounting deeply divided geopolitical and economic climate have not stopped India and Russia from forging stronger ties, whether it is say in the sector of defense cooperation, nuclear cooperation, or even strengthening our bilateral trade, which will also look at a whole host of areas, whether it is fertilizers, agriculture. India and Russia will both in fact be lowering their tariff barriers, as we've learned from our sources. So it will be interesting to see what kind of MOUs are signed. But quickly to take a word on defense cooperation, you can expect 5 squadrons of S-400 being purchased as of now. You're also learning that there'll be technology transfer surrounding the Sukhoi 57. And when it comes to Russia, Poonam, don't forget, compared to Western countries, Russia has always been, say, more proactive when it comes to technology transfer or even deep localization technology, something that we've already been privy to during Operation Sindoor, when it was the S-400s that in fact rescued India. So it would be interesting to see how we go forward, given that back in 2018, in the previous Trump administration, Donald Trump had imposed CAATSA sanctions on India, but that sort of also was sweetened with Joe Biden taking over, and 2022 we finally went ahead without the CAATSA sanctions. Will the purchase of more S-400s sort of pose a dilemma for New Delhi when it comes not just to Washington but even Brussels, because even the European allies currently are watching this meet very closely. Pakistan and China are going to be other two countries because of the kind of defense assistance that China has been providing Pakistan post Operation Sindoor. We all know about it. So this is one meet, one bilateral meet and a state visit of the Russian president, which the world, not just the United States, will be watching very closely. Poonam.
Absolutely, and all eyes are going to be here on New Delhi when that meeting takes place. There is going to be restricted talks between Prime Minister Modi and President Vladimir Putin tomorrow evening, just a few minutes, few hours after he touches down in India, in Delhi. And then, of course, the delegation level talks which are held on Friday morning. For the moment, Akanksha, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. But it's not just the mood in Delhi that we're looking at. We're also looking at what Russia is eyeing from this particular summit. In fact, my colleague Siddhant Mishra spoke exclusively with RT News editor, and this is what Russia is hoping to achieve from this visit of President Vladimir Putin.
How people in Moscow are viewing this visit of President Putin to India after the gap of 5 years?
Well, I think that has been a fruitful gap, despite it has been 5 years since President Putin has come here to India. It was in 2021. And then we've seen the outbreak of hostilities in Ukraine, and it was a difficult period. But for the Russia-India relation, it was a push. We can see it. There has been expansion in trade from somewhere around 10 billion or 12 billion dollars in bilateral trade. It has jumped to 60. I think now the new figures will show 70 billion in trade. In last year, actually, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has come to Moscow. They had a bilateral summit, and they have agreed to. They have set a target actually for 100 billion for bilateral trade, but experts are now saying that we are actually on the way to cross this target much earlier. Now, what is important is that both countries realize that there is imbalance in trade because those figures that we see there are based on India's rising imports of energy. But
largely in favor of Russia.
It is in favor of Russia, and there is full acknowledgement of that. And both countries have been working on how to diversify this trade. Indian government is pushing exports, and Russian government is trying to ease the imports from India. So there's a lot. As somebody who is in Moscow and who is covering Russia-India, I can see a clear change in the number of delegations coming from India, the number of, various fairs from textiles to machinery and all. We see a lot of Indian delegations push for agriculture exports. You won't believe that in Moscow we wouldn't have, the mangoes or basmati rice from India. But now it's changing, and I see it on the, shelves in Moscow. So there is a change.
Well, there's lots that's expected and lots that's being eyed on by both sides, both India and Russia. Defense, of course, has been a crucial factor that brings Russia and India together. Both have been defense partners for decades together, and both sides are looking to boost that cooperation during Vladimir Putin's this visit. Is there going to be a possible deal on S-500 which could be signed? This, remember, is a more advanced version of the S-400 that Russia is pushing for. India, of course, which is already using and has tested and tried the S-400 during Operation Sindoor and in the aftermath, would want to push for more S-400s. But this is the upgraded version. The S-500 missile system, it tracks targets across a vast range, across 500 or so kilometers. It reaches of altitudes up to 200 kilometers. It's far bigger an upgrade than the existing S-400s that India has in its arsenal. It is also engineered to detect and track everything that the S-400 does, like drones, like aircraft, like cruise missiles. But the S-500 can track ballistic and hypersonic missiles as well. A standard unit typically fields 12 transporter ejector launchers. It allows for rapid and coordinated missile deployment. The system is designed to detect and simultaneously engage up to 10 ballistic or hypersonic targets, which is again an upgrade from the existing S-400. It uses two next-generation interceptor missiles, which are also not part of the S-400. This is also the upgrade that comes in with the S-500, the 77N6N and the 77N6N1. These are believed to have a hit-to-kill mechanism, meaning that they are designed to destroy incoming targets by direct impact, which was not the case as far as S-400 missiles were concerned. In 2023, the estimated cost of a single system of the S-400 stood at about $2.5 billion. How much more is the S-500 going to cost? Is that something that India will buy from Russia or not? Of course, it's on the cards. It is going to be discussed during these bilateral talks. But whether it comes to any fruition, we'll have to wait and watch. Shifting focus now to some news coming in as far as the National Capital Region and the air emergency here goes. Delhi government is going to be forming a committee to tackle the air pollution crisis. This committee is going to be headed by Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta. The panel will have officials from leading scientific centers. This is what we're now learning. The air quality index in Delhi has seen a tumble over the last few days. GRAP 3 was revoked. GRAP 2 is in effect as far as the National Capital Region goes. That's something that hasn't helped the air quality in the National Capital Region, which has only seen a downward spiral. Let's listen into the Delhi Environment Minister.
चीजों को लड़ सकती है, इसलिए उसको आदेश दिया गया एमसीडी को कि 8000 की 8000 किलोमीटर की उनकी सड़कें पोर्टल फ्री होनी चाहिए, डस्ट फ्री होनी चाहिए। इसके लिए उन्होंने एक समय मांगा है, उस समय सीमा के अंदर अंदर वो अपनी रिपोर्ट देंगे कितने दिनों में और किस तरह से प्लान तरीके से खत्म किया जाएगा इसको, उसके ऊपर अगली कार्रवाई उसके बाद की जाएगी। एमसीडी को यह भी आदेश दिया गया और बाकी एजेंसीज को भी कि जितना भी कटिंग हो रही है, रोड कटिंग किसी पर्पस के लिए किसी, उसके ऊपर अभी से अपना रेट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के तहत अपने टेंडर फ्लोट करेंगे, ताकि एडवांस में उनके पास होना चाहिए। एजेंसी पैसा जमा कराती है, रोड कटिंग का काम होता है, उसके बाद टेंडर लगता है। इट टेक्स मंथ्स एंड मंथ्स। इस दौरान वहाँ पे बहुत डस्ट होती है, उसको रोकने के लिए आज ये तय किया गया है कोई भी रोड कटिंग जैसे ही खत्म होगा काम, उसको तुरंत करना होगा। उसके लिए कोई टेंडर नहीं होगा, पहले से ही इसको रेट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया जाएगा ताकि तुरंत उनका काम को बंद किया जा सके। अभी सीएनडी वेस्ट के प्रोडक्ट्स जो हैं उनको कंपल्सरी किया जाएगा, उसके लिए
Srishti, my colleague now joins us, getting us more details. Srishti, what more can you tell us about this committee that has now been formed? Because there seems to be certain steps that the government could have taken but haven't. They invoked GRAP 3 as well, and ever since then we've seen the air quality only tumble further.
Right, Poonam. So as we see, for the last 2 months, the air quality in the national capital, that is the air quality index, has been hovering between very poor to severe levels. And even today, it's still in the very poor category. So the Union Environment Minister, Bhupendra Yadav, held a meeting where the Delhi Environment Minister, Manjinder Singh Sirsa, was also present. And it was decided that a committee will be formed to make the recommendations to the Chief Minister. And the Chief Minister will chair this committee. So it will include officials from the leading scientific centers in the country. And basically, the target is to actually contain pollution from the sources. Now, as we all know, it's coming from the vehicles, industries as well. So on traffic congestion, it was decided that the 62 identified hotspots in Delhi, which require urgent action through smart traffic management, so that will be prioritized. The public transport would really be promoted, because in the recent past, the Delhi government has kind of stepped up in procuring electric vehicles, which can help reduce pollution in the long run. And as Mr. Sirsa was highlighting in the press briefing as well, that the road development works will also be expedited. We all know that road dust, is a significant contribution to the pollution in Delhi, and that is why the Delhi government has been procuring a lot of water sprinklers and anti-smog guns as well. They also discussed the action on the industries, because there are certain industries which are also, major polluters in the national capital. So on the issue of industries' compliance to the emission standards in Delhi and NCR, it was decided that all these delinquent units would be handheld to encourage them to use these online continuous emission monitoring systems, so which enable them to actually track the pollution that is coming from these industries. So this meeting basically, evaluated all the actions being taken. Remember, this also, is happening when the residents are also protesting in the streets against the worsening level of pollution in the city. In fact, today also there was a protest held at Jantar Mantar. So the pressure on the government to actually act on this pollution has been rising steadily.
And speaking of that protest in Jantar Mantar, we'll play out a report that you sent us earlier today, Srishti, as well. But talking about this particular committee that has now been formed by the Delhi government with the Chief Minister at the helm, is there a particular timeline that they're working with? What kind of solutions are they looking to get in? Because it's the end of the year pretty much. This is when the city and the national capital region is the worst hit.
Right, Poonam. So see, it's been almost 2 months. Like I said, the AQI has been very poor to severe, and it's almost November now. And with the temperatures falling, I think the air quality is going to worsen over the next few weeks as well. Now, the Union Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav not just said that we need to expedite actions in the next 2 months as well, but also he asked the stakeholders to prepare an action plan for next year as well. So all these priority sectors, the vehicles, the industries, the traffic management, the road dust, as well as the open burning of waste. Remember, that's also a very serious issue in the national capital. And in the meeting, they also identified certain potential greening sites across NCR, where probably the more area could be brought under the green cover. So those measures will probably also help in bringing down the pollution in the long run. But I think the focus, as highlighted in the meeting as well, is on the priority sectors, curbing the pollution from the sources, which is basically vehicles, industries, and most importantly, traffic management. Remember, just a few days ago, there was an important report which came out from the New Delhi-based Center for Science and Environment, which again highlighted that that there's a lot of pollution coming from these vehicles, and the focus should not just be on PM 2.5 and PM 10 that we keep on talking about, but there are a lot of these harmful gases, like nitrogen dioxide and carbon monoxide, which have steadily increased every time there's a traffic congestion, and that's a serious cause of concern, which was also discussed in the meeting.
Right, Shashi, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. We'll have to wait and watch as to what happens as far as this particular committee goes. But the residents of the National Capital Region have had enough, because this is the same story that plays out every single year at the onset of winter and stays that way for the 3 months of winter as temperatures drop. In fact, Shrishti, my colleague, was at Jantar Mantar, where frustrated, angry residents of the National Capital Region took to the streets to demand accountability, to demand answers and some action on ground to end this air emergency. Let's take a look at that report.
We are here at Jantar Mantar again, and the residents of the national capital have come here again demanding the right to breathe clean air. We have with us Ms. Bhavreen Kandari, who has been leading this protest. Ma'am, the government says that Delhi recorded the lowest average AQI this year. What do you have to say?
Well, it's too soon to say that, because we are still in December, complete December, January, and I wish that's true also. But unfortunately, it's not going to be, because of course, in these days, you have to give a lot of attribution to the weather and the weather gods. So they are doing better than, what the
So the toxic haze continues to blanket the national capital, and there are a lot of people wearing masks now. So the awareness has also increased. How urgent do you think it is time to take really action?
Now tell me, every single day, the papers, the media, all of yourselves, how much case study has come in? These are real people, these are real citizens, real mothers, real children who are going through surgeries, who are, suffering. So what more evidence do we need? Forget the data. In fact, I also believe that data can always be fudged. Now, data is being humanized.
While politics is also peaking as far as the pollution crisis goes, Congress Parliamentary Chairperson Sonia Gandhi launched a sharp attack on the centre over this crisis, calling it a decade-long emergency. She accused the centre of showing cynicism and failing to take meaningful action. She's written an opinion piece called Dismal State of India's Environment, where she said that a hazy mix of dust, smoke and particulate matter now covers millions who are forced to breathe the toxic air every day. She has warned that the smog has become a yearly routine and a slow-motion public health tragedy. Earlier today, we saw opposition MPs led by the Congress party stage a protest inside the parliament as well over this worsening air quality. Many of them were even wearing gas masks, demanding a debate inside the parliament on this crisis.
रोज बोलती हूँ कि सबको इकट्ठा होकर कुछ करना चाहिए. राजनीतिक मामला नहीं है, ये सबको इफेक्ट कर रहा है. इसको हमें सीरियसली लेना चाहिए. चर्चा होनी चाहिए पार्लियामेंट में, और चर्चा के अलावा ठोस जो एक्शन है वो लेना चाहिए. सबको इकट्ठे होकर लेना चाहिए.
लगातार मीटिंग करने के बाद हमारे को लग रहा है कि अगले वर्ष के लिए अभी से ही एक डिटेल प्लान को तैयार किया जाए. और आज डस्ट का जो सबसे बड़ा कारण है कि जगह जगह सड़कों पे जो गड्ढे रहते हैं उनको आइडेंटिफाई करने की बात करी है. सबसे ज्यादा जो बात करी है कि दिल्ली में 61 ऐसे ट्रैफिक हॉट स्पॉट की पहचान करी है जिनको अगर ठीक से मैनेज किया जाए, वहां के एनक्रोचमेंट को, पार्किंग को, आरओबी को अगर करे तो इन 61 पार्किंग स्टेशंस को आगे क्लियर करके, ताकि वहां पर हमारे व्हीकल का. और सबसे बड़ी बात है, CAQM एक एक्सपर्ट कमेटी भी बना रहा है जो व्हीकल पॉल्यूशन के बारे में और विचार करने का काम करेगा. दिसंबर में ही दिल्ली सरकार के साथ अपने अधिकारियों के साथ बैठकर समीक्षा और प्लान के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन को आगे लेके जाएंगे.
So Haryana is the one which has been blamed time and again for Delhi AQI levels. Why is the Haryana MPs? Why are you all?
See, this blame game has to stop. Every winter, I demand that the Prime Minister himself should take cognizance of this and should intervene, and the government should take it seriously. And a committee should be formed with the Prime Minister being part of it, and Chief Ministers of all the concerning states, including Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab. That committee should come up with a plan, and all the NCR and Haryana, Delhi MPs should also be part of that committee. All of us, because we are also stakeholders. And a plan should be presented to the Parliament with adequate budget and timeline how to solve this problem. Till that time, we are going to continue to fight for clean air, Every day I'm going to come with this. Today I gave an adjournment motion, as you must have seen.
Yeah.
I gave an adjournment motion on this clean air, but that adjournment motion was rejected by the speaker. I will give again.
Pallavi, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Pallavi, we saw the kind of protests that was undertaken by Congress MPs. They all turned up in gas masks, demanding that a debate happen inside both houses of parliament on this crisis. Is this an issue that they will take forward in the remainder of the session as well?
Well, considering the fact that Rahul Gandhi himself released a video a few days back, and considering the fact that Sonia Gandhi's article has also come out in a national newspaper on pollution, it's very clear that the Congress party, after having been the only political party inside parliament wearing those masks and upping its ante against the government, will want to keep this issue going. After all, it's a people's issue. It's an issue which is connected with people like you and me. And a Congress party, if it claims to be the people's party, then they would want to keep this issue alive. But more than that, it also gives them an opportunity to hit back at both the central and the state government, to make the point that, we have been repeatedly talking about it. People have been complaining about the pollution figures, the AQI, which is horrible at this point of time. Why is it that there has been no emergency meeting? The announcement of a committee so late, of course, makes no sense as far as the Congress is concerned, because they feel it's come a little bit too late, where the work should have been done earlier. And therefore, I won't rule out the possibility of them, at least during 0 hour or question hour, raising the pollution issue.
Well, we'll have to see how this goes politically. For the moment, though, thank you so much, Pallavi, for getting us latest on this. Vimlendu Jha, environmentalist, is also joining us on this broadcast. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. There is this committee that has now been formed by the Delhi government with the Chief Minister at the helm. Details are still sketchy. We don't know what their mandate is going to be, if there is a timeline that they're looking at, and what solutions they'll come up with. But do you think this seems like an afterthought, that this is a little too late in terms of action?
Absolutely. It's just a face-saving measure. We've actually made the chief minister the head of a committee on pollution, when this is the same chief minister who has completely failed to really give the real data for the last several weeks. So we are making someone the monitor or the head of this committee to really improve Delhi's air, someone who's completely denied that there's actually a problem like air pollution that exists in Delhi in that sense. And also for the fact that this is happening actually in December, when people have been raising this issue for almost several weeks, several years indeed. For, right now, again, we don't even know what exactly will this committee do in terms of really understanding whether the sources of pollution are known or not. Everyone knows what the problem is. Everyone knows what needs to be done. We don't need yet another committee. There's a committee of CAQM already that exists on paper, and sometimes, occasionally, they meet over chai and samosa and pass some circulars. But reality of action is completely missing. India needs action rather than yet another committee. India needs a performing chief minister and performing chief ministers rather than head of a committee chief minister. And also, while the parliament is on and there's enough study already that talks about that 90% of India's air is polluted, do we only need a Delhi-specific problem? We do not need only a Delhi-specific problem, because this is not a Delhi-specific problem. Indeed, Delhi needs attention, and disproportionate one, because it's the capital. But if 90% India's air is polluted, if there are 5 states in North India already which has the same AQI, your studio, which is in Noida, how will Rekha Gupta control your air when your air should be controlled by Yogi Adityanath? And why is no question asked of Yogi Adityanath or Saini or of other people? So it's too little too late. It's more of a headline management. You tell me, Poonam, is Noida ruled by Rekha Gupta? Is your air 100, 200, 300, or is it close to 400? And therefore, how can you even ask me that question, that is this a solution for air pollution, making Rekha Gupta, Chief Minister of a small NCT, responsible for the air pollution that we have here?
And like you mentioned, it's not just a problem that Delhi faces, it's a problem that all of India faces. I mean, I come from Mumbai, and the kind of air quality that we've seen in Mumbai, I've never seen that as a child. So this clearly is not just a national capital region problem, but a national problem. But do you think that there isn't enough attention that's being paid to it? Because it's not just about a political party. I mean, this is not something that we've been battling for the last few years. At least Delhi hasn't. It's been going on for years together.
Absolutely. I think there needs to be a consensus. Why can't there be a consensus on this issue rather than actually a partisan bickering? This is an issue that affects everyone, and this is an issue that will affect everyone for irrespective of whichever party is in power tomorrow or after 5 years or after 10 years in that sense. And this is something, the credit of this will go to everybody who actually changes the entire fortune of the country with regard to air in that sense. The generations, as in a lot of times these political parties talk about the equity that they perhaps could hold to the future voters. Imagine how the future voters are going to remember any political party or all these political parties who actually do something concrete rather than passing one circular after another, and yet another committee is a sham, too late, and it should be called out.
The people of this country deserve better. We do hope that our politicians realize that as well. I have to leave it there. Vimlendu Jha, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. We'll keep a track of what's transpiring there and the rest of the country as well. News and updates will continue here on CNN News 18. But for now, it's time for a quick pause.
This is News. Stay ahead with News 18. News from your city in your language. Real-time updates, in-depth analysis, and breaking news. Anytime, anywhere. Only on the News 18 app. Scan and download the News 18 app now.
Let's talk about the defense agreement between India and Russia. As you all know, India and Russia enjoy an enduring defense partnership, with both the sides looking to boost this cooperation during Vladimir Putin's visit to New Delhi. Now, there is a possibility that a deal on S-500, which is the more advanced version of the S-400 air defense system, is on the cards. So here's what we know. The S-500 missile system tracks targets across a vast 500 to 600 kilometer range, reaching altitudes of up to 200 kilometers, which is a far bigger upgrade than the existing S-400 air defense system, which is right now present in India's arsenal. It is also, remember, engineered to detect and track everything that the S-400 does, like drones, aircraft and cruise missiles, but this one can track ballistic missiles as well, and even hypersonic threats. A standard unit typically fields 12 transporter erector launchers, allowing rapid and coordinated missile deployment. The system, remember, is also designed to detect and simultaneously engage up to 10 ballistic or hypersonic targets. It uses two next-generation interceptor missiles, the 77N6N and the 77N6N1, which employ a hit-to-kill mechanism, meaning that they are designed to destroy incoming targets by direct impact. Now, remember, in 2023, the estimated cost of a single system stood at a whopping $2.5 billion. And right now, we are looking at the procurement of S-500 air defense system. Remember, S-400 air defense system turned out to be a jewel in India's defense arsenal during the entire war, the Operation Sindoor that happened post the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack. Now, another big ticket defense deal that could be signed during this visit of the Russian President Vladimir Putin is of Sukhoi 57. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has confirmed that it is on the agenda. The other fifth-generation stealth jet in the market is the F-35, which is a rival to Sukhoi 57. While the US may want India to buy the F-35, the Russian offer raises the stakes now. So how do they fare against each other? Let's find out. The F-35 is a fifth-generation single talk about the defense agreement between India and Russia. As you all know, India and Russia enjoy an enduring defense partnership, with both the sides looking to boost this cooperation during Vladimir Putin's visit to New Delhi. Now, there is a possibility that a deal on S-500, which is the more advanced version of the S-400 air defense system, is on the cards. So here's what we know. The S-500 missile system tracks targets across a vast 500 to 600 kilometer range, reaching altitudes of up to 200 kilometers, which is a far bigger upgrade than the existing S-400 air defense system, which is right now present in India's arsenal. It is also, remember, engineered to detect and track everything that the S-400 does, like drones, aircraft and cruise missiles, but this one can track ballistic missiles as well, and even hypersonic threats. A standard unit typically fields 12 transporter erector launchers, allowing rapid and coordinated missile deployment. The system, remember, is also designed to detect and simultaneously engage up to 10 ballistic or hypersonic targets. It uses two next-generation interceptor missiles, the 77N6N and the 77N6N1, which employ a hit-to-kill mechanism, meaning that they are designed to destroy incoming targets by direct impact. Now, remember, in 2023, the estimated cost of a single system stood at a whopping $2.5 billion. And right now, we are looking at the procurement of S-500 air defense system. Remember, S-400 air defense system turned out to be a jewel in India's defense arsenal during the entire war, the Operation Sindoor that happened post the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack. Now, another big ticket defense deal that could be signed during this visit of the Russian President Vladimir Putin is of Sukhoi 57. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has confirmed that it is on the agenda. The other fifth-generation stealth jet in the market is the F-35, which is a rival to Sukhoi 57. While the US may want India to buy the F-35, the Russian offer raises the stakes now. So how do they fare against each other? Let's find out. The F-35 is a fifth-generation single-engine fighter that is produced by Lockheed Martin, while the Sukhoi is produced by Russia with United Aircraft Corporation. The Sukhoi 57, which is Russia's twin-engine fifth-generation fighter, brings three.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nation at 5. We have some breaking news now coming in. Trouble is mounting for actor Ranveer Singh. A complaint has now been filed against him for hurting religious sentiments. This is over his mimicry while talking about the film Kantara at the film festival in Goa. He had apologized for his mimicry, for his actions, going on to say that all he was trying to do was talk about the role that was played by Rishabh Shetty in the film. But despite his apology, we now know that a complaint has been filed for hurting religious sentiments over that mimicry of his. Afreen, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Afreen, what more can you tell us? Where has this complaint been filed, and what is it that Ranveer Singh is being accused of?
Well, Poonam, a lawyer here in Bengaluru has filed a complaint against Ranveer Singh for allegedly hurting religious sentiments after his comments at the film festival in Goa on November 28, when he referred to a deity, depicted in the movie Kantara Chapter 1 as a female ghost. And he goes on to mimic the acting that was done by Rishabh Shetty, the director and actor of the film Kantara Chapter 1. In the final, in the climax where a deity possesses him, he goes on to call that particular deity as a female ghost. Now, that particular remark of actor Ranveer Singh has, triggered a lot of outburst, not only on internet but also here in Bengaluru, where a lawyer has filed a complaint against him.
Right, Afreen, thank you so much for getting us the latest. We'll have to wait and watch as to what happens in this legal hurdle that Ranveer Singh now faces. Shifting focus to a major war of words that has erupted over Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's remarks on Jawaharlal Nehru and the Babri Masjid. On Tuesday, while addressing a unity march in Gujarat to commemorate Sardar Patel's 150th birth anniversary, India's Raksha Mantri claimed that the country's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, had sought public funds to build the Babri Masjid. But it was Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel that prevented from that plan going forward. The Congress was quick to hit back at Rajnath Singh, saying that these claims were devoid of any proof or any historical reference. The BJP now has countered with a book that Singh relied on before making these claims. The book that's titled Inside Story of Sardar Patel, a primary source collection that offers an intimate, unfiltered look into the political and personal life of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel through the daily notes of his daughter. That book also supports Rajnath Singh's assertion, says the BJP, putting the Congress back in the dock.
जब पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू बाबरी मस्जिद के मुद्दे पर सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करने की बात जब उन्होंने छेड़ी थी, सरकारी खजाने से पैसा खर्च करके बाबरी मस्जिद बनवाई जानी चाहिए, उसका भी विरोध यदि किसी ने किया था तो गुजराती मां की कोख से पैदा हुए सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने ही किया था मेरे भाई। और उस समय सरकारी पैसे से उन्होंने बाबरी मस्जिद नहीं बनने दिया।
It's a complete lie by Rajnath Singh ji. We all know that Pandit Nehru and Sardar Patel had a cordial relationship, and Pandit Nehru's logic was very simple. Public money should not be spent on any kind of mosque, temple, churches or gurudwaras. It should be people's contribution. People should contribute and build their beliefs. This thing, not government money should be there. Rajnath Singh ji is stooping to this level. He is spreading a lie. I condemn this kind of lies from Rajnath Singh ji.
मुझे लगता है कि कांग्रेस के नेता अपने नेताओं के बारे में जानकारी लेने का आदत छूट गई है, पढ़ना लिखना छोड़ दिया है। नेहरू गांधी के बारे में भी उन्हें नहीं पता होता है। जो माननीय राजनाथ सिंह जी ने कहा है उसका सोर्स है द इनसाइड स्टोरी ऑफ सरदार पटेल, डायरी ऑफ मनीबेन पटेल, पेज नंबर 24। मुझे लगता है हम और कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं, इतिहास में गड़े मुर्दे उखाड़ने का हमारा कोई प्रयास नहीं है, पर कांग्रेस को अपने मुर्दों का डीएनए जरूर चेक कर लेना चाहिए। मैं किसी के प्रति व्यक्तिगत अपमान नहीं करना चाहता हूं। यहां डीएनए का अर्थ राजनीतिक डीएनए से।
Pallavi, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Pallavi, barring one particular member of parliament, this issue hasn't really resonated, at least as far as the parliament goes. But is this something that the Congress will continue to counter? Because now the BJP has given out proof to back what Rajnath Singh had said.
But when I had asked this question to the Congress President, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, he said it's a non-issue because when the BJP has nothing much to say, they keep on going back and tinker with history, and they want to blame Jawaharlal Nehru for everything, for the economy, for politics, for foreign policy, and therefore we don't want to engage with them. This is a clear-cut case of diversionary tactic, which is precisely the reason, Poonam, why today inside the parliament you did not see the Congress leaders take up this issue, because according to them, every time the government has failed, and these are the Congress's words, every time the Congress fails to deliver, all that they do is take up Jawaharlal Nehru's name. But these are all documentary evidences that they have in the past, and they have always been pointing out that whether it's been a foreign policy issue, whether it's the land to China, which Rahul Gandhi accuses the central government of, the BJP has made it very clear that there is enough evidence to show that many of these decisions were taken by the first Prime Minister of independent India, and which was Jawaharlal Nehru. It's not about targeting the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty. So BJP asks that why is it the Congress party so touchy about it when they themselves should go through the history books to see what were the decisions taken then and what is the price that we are having to pay now.
So the war wars between the Congress and the BJP continues. Pallavi, for the moment, thank you so much for getting us the latest. Let's listen into some reactions that have poured in.
सब डिस्ट्रैक्शन है, असली मुद्दे हैं, बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे हैं जिन पे चर्चा होनी चाहिए, जिन पे बात होनी चाहिए, और ये सब रोज ये कुछ ना कुछ डिस्ट्रैक्शन उठा लेते हैं ताकि हम फिर बयान दें, वो बयान दें, और जो असली मुद्दे हैं पब्लिक के, वो उस पे कोई चर्चा ना हो।
प्रमोद तिवारी जी, राजनाथ सिंह का जो कहना था कि सरकारी धन से जो नेहरू जी थे वो बाबरी मस्जिद बनवाना चाहते थे, इस पर क्या कहेंगे?
राजनाथ जी को क्या हो गया मैं नहीं जानता। 1992 में बाबरी मस्जिद डिमोलिशन और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में ये ऑर्डर है वो बन गई। तो जब पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू तो 60 के दशक में उनका निधन हो गया था, कैसे वो उस समय बात हो सकती थी? तो मुझे लगता है कुछ सीक्वेंस उनका बिगड़ गया है, और वो ठीक भी है। जिस तरीके से ये दो गड़बड़ कर रहे हैं, तो राजनाथ जी बेचारे मेरे उनको कुछ
News now coming in, highlighting the Prime Minister's vision for India 2047. Top PMO bureaucrat has now spoken to CNN News 18. PK Mishra says that the goal is to achieve the status of a developed country while balancing nature and culture, leading globally in science and technology. He's gone on to emphasize that India will be Atmanirbhar across all sectors, and that's something that the thrust of this government is going to be on. Aman, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Aman, you've spoken with this top bureaucrat in the Prime Minister's office. What more insights can you share with us?
Well, Poonam, in fact, Mr. PK Mishra, the Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, was speaking at an event where he has laid out the vision for 2047, the vision of India. Very interestingly, he has said this particular statement that though there is global turbulence in the world, India has showing resilience. India Q2 GDP is at 8.2%. That is what Mr. PK Mishra has said. He's also said that India will be fully Atmanirbhar in all sectors by 2047. It's a very important statement coming from one of the most topmost bureaucrats in the country. He has also said that developed nation with nature plus culture is at the core of India's 2047 vision plan. He's also saying that there is no place for corruption, casteism or communalism in New India. This was a speech that Mr. PK Mishra was giving at an event, also saying that 11 years of Modi governance has been rooted in innovation as well as reinvention. He's saying that global turbulence may be there on the world. Even after COVID, we've seen other countries growing at a very, very slow pace. But India's pace at 8.2% in the latest Q2 GDP is a shining star. That is why India has a special place. Also saying India is moving ahead with courage in Amrit Kal. There is tech disruption everywhere, but India is now a global innovation hub. Over 100 unicorns, 2 lakh startups in India. He's saying that Modi's 4S mantra, be it scope, scale, speed and skill, this is what is driving the government's transformation. So this is right, the thinking at the top, and the topmost bureaucrat of the country, the Principal Secretary of the Prime Minister, PK Mishra, speaking about this at an event.
Right, I stand corrected there, Aman. This was a public platform where the top bureaucrat from the Prime Minister's office was listing out what the vision for the Prime Minister is going to be like for 2047 and what the vision for a Viksit Bharat is going to look like. For the moment though, Aman, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that. It is time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5, but news and updates will continue here. Do stay tuned.
This is
Talk about the defense agreement between India and Russia. As you all know, India and Russia enjoy an enduring defense partnership, with both the sides looking to boost this cooperation during Vladimir Putin's visit to New Delhi. Now, there is a possibility that a deal on S-500, which is the more advanced version of the S-400 air defense system, is on the cards. So here's what we know. The S-500 missile system tracks targets across a vast 500 to 600 kilometer range, reaching altitudes of up to 200 kilometers, which is a far bigger upgrade than the existing S-400 air defense system, which is right now present in India's arsenal. It is also, remember, engineered to detect and track everything that the S-400 does, like drones, aircraft and cruise missiles, but this one can track ballistic missiles as well, and even hypersonic threats. A standard unit typically fields 12 transporter erector launchers, allowing rapid and coordinated missile deployment. The system, remember, is also designed to detect and simultaneously engage up to 10 ballistic or hypersonic targets. It uses 2 next-generation interceptor missiles, the 77N6N and the 77N6N1, which employ a hit-to-kill mechanism, meaning that they are designed to destroy incoming targets by direct impact. Now remember, in 2023, the estimated cost of a single system stood at a whopping $2.5 billion. And right now, we are looking at the procurement of S-500 air defense system. Remember, S-400 air defense system turned out to be a jewel in India's defense arsenal during the entire war, the Operation Sindoor that happened post the dastardly Pahalgam terror attack. Now, another big ticket defense deal that could be signed during this visit of the Russian President Vladimir Putin is of Sukhoi 57. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has confirmed that it is on the agenda. The other fifth-generation stealth jet in the market is the F-35, which is a rival to Sukhoi 57. While the US may want India to buy the F-35, the Russian offer raises the stakes now. So how do they fare against each other? Let's find out. The F-35 is a fifth-generation single-engine fighter that is produced by Lockheed Martin, while the Sukhoi is produced by Russia with United Aircraft Corporation. The Sukhoi 57, which is Russia's twin-engine fifth-generation fighter, brings 3D thrust vectoring to the table, which... Let's talk about the defense agreement between India and Russia. As you all know, India and Russia enjoy an enduring defense partnership, with both the sides looking to boost this cooperation during Vladimir Putin's visit to New Delhi. Now, there is a possibility that a deal on S-500, which is the more advanced version of the S-400 air defense system, is on the cards. So here's what we know. The S-500 missile system tracks targets across a vast 500 to 600 kilometer range, reaching altitudes of up to 200 kilometers, which is a far bigger upgrade than the existing S-400 air defense system, which is right now present in India's arsenal. It is also, remember, engineered to detect and track everything that the S-400 does, like drones, aircraft and cruise missiles, but this one can track ballistic missiles as well, and even hypersonic threats. A standard unit typically fields 12 transporter erector launchers, allowing rapid and coordinated missile deployment. The system, remember, is also designed to detect and simultaneously engage up to 10 ballistic or hypersonic targets. It uses two next-generation interceptor missiles, the 77N6N and the 77N6N1, which employ a hit-to-kill mechanism, meaning that they are designed to destroy incoming targets by direct impact. Now, remember, in 2023, the estimated cost of a single system stood at a whopping $2.5 billion. And right now, we are looking at the procurement of S-500.
Welcome back to Nation at 5. Some breaking news that's now coming in. There's a big development in space cooperation between India and Russia ahead of President Vladimir Putin's India visit. Russia's premier space agency, Roscosmos, has now confirmed that the two nations' long-standing partnership in space will continue and that key agreements will be signed day after tomorrow. These will focus on rocket engines, space engines and collaboration aboard the Russian orbital station.
Yes, India and Russia are great partners in space, and day after tomorrow we are going to sign some documents which we will announce right after it. They are connected to activity in space like space engines for rockets, and activity on the orbit with our Russian orbital station and BES, which will exist after International Space Station.
Now, there are several deals that could be inked during this visit of the Russian president, all of which is going to be tracked here on CNN News 18. In fact, it's not just India that is eyeing a lot out of this visit. Russia, too, is hoping to get its lion's share. In fact, my colleague Siddhant Mishra spoke with the Prime News presenter at Russia today. Listen in to what he had to say about this upcoming meeting, this upcoming visit of the Russian president, and what is it that Moscow is keenly watching out for.
How people in Moscow are viewing this visit of President Putin to India after the gap of 5 years. This is a tradition in a relationship, right. Annual summits. This would be the 23rd annual summit taking place between the two countries. How people in Moscow are viewing this visit?
I think people in Moscow, and I think across the entire Russian Federation in general, view this visit very much in the same light that Vladimir Putin does. Yeah. Vladimir Putin refers to Prime Minister Narendra Modi as my dear friend.
Yeah.
And Modi has referred to Putin and Russia as an all-weather ally, yeah, and a trusted friend as well. Yeah. So there is not just a friendship here, but there's a strategic partnership as well. I think the general consensus in Russia is very, very positive regarding the friendship and strategic partnership shared between two of some of the biggest members now of the multipolar world, BRICS members as well, who have forged their place on the global stage today.
Rory, also would like to understand from you. Let's first talk about the bonhomie between President Putin and Prime Minister Modi. So I did this, I reported this on my channel the other day. It was Prime Minister Modi's birthday. So several world leaders called him, sent message, extending congratulations and wishing him happy birthday. But President Putin wished Prime Minister Modi 4 times in 24 hours. He called, there was a message from Kremlin. Then during his meeting with bureaucrats, in the opening remarks, he again wished Prime Minister Modi. Talk to us a little bit about this special bonhomian relationship and the comfort between these two leaders.
You know, it's not just the body language, it's not just the embraces and the hugs. There is genuinely a deep level of trust between them. And I think given the way the world is today, because many people say the world is splitting in half, they're saying you've got this side of the world now, you've got this side of the world now, you've got your G7, and then you've got your BRICS, for example. And as I said before, the world is changing so much that those who are on the front lines of the changes are embracing each other more than ever. But it's not just a friendship. I mean, for example, the relationship, not just between Modi and Putin, but between India and Russia, it goes back not just years, but it goes back decades. It goes back to the Soviet Union and beyond.
Well, let's now get you a quick roundup of everything else that's made news here in the country, beginning with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's meeting with West Bengal BJP MPs today in the parliament, where he urged them to step up efforts to secure electoral success in the upcoming state elections. He stated that the fight against the current regime must continue. Prime Minister also discussed strategies which included highlighting the benefits of a double-engine government and exposing TMC's alleged corruption. He has sought feedback from MPs from West Bengal on the SIR exercise that's currently ongoing. Suspended JDS leader and convict in a rape case, Prajwal Revanna yesterday moved the Supreme Court seeking a transfer of his probe. In his plea, Revanna challenged orders of both the trial court and the Karnataka High Court that turned down his request to transfer the case to another judge on the grounds of bias. Wonderla's newly launched Chennai amusement park ran into multiple glitches on its opening day. Videos and photos from the park circulated online showing rescue teams assisting riders and crowds expressing concern over the repeated disruptions. Addressing the complaints, Wonderla management issued an apology acknowledging the inconvenience that was caused to guests and attributed the malfunctions to intermittent power outages caused by the ongoing cyclone conditions. Investigation in the Delhi bomb blast continues. Centre has appointed senior advocate Madhav Khurana as a special public prosecutor in the case. Khurana will serve as the SVP for a period of 3 years, representing the NIA in the trial and all related proceedings before the NIA Special Court as well as the Delhi High Court. President Draupadi Murmu praised the achievements of persons with disabilities and urged society to ensure their full and equal participation. She was speaking at an event honouring achievers in the field of Divyangjan Shashaktikaran with national awards. The President said that she was especially pleased to present the awards and express gratitude to Union Social Justice and Empowerment Minister for this initiative. Calling for a shift in societal attitudes, the President stressed that a developed society is one in which persons with disabilities have equal participation. A Delhi court today extended the custody of Jasir Bilal Vani, a key accused in the Red Fort blast case, by 7 days. Vani was produced in court as his custody ended. Congress MP Randeep Singh Surjewala today flagged concerns related to Sanchar Sathi mobile application in the Rajya Sabha, saying it completely negates the right of privacy of every individual. Raising the issue, he said a clear apprehension is that the features would point to real-time geolocation of every user. In the backdrop of all that's happened in the last 24 hours, the government has decided to roll back on the mandatory pre-installation on new smartphones. Terming fake news as a threat to democracy, Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Ashwini Vaishnav said that there is a need to take strict action against those who create AI-generated deepfake videos and spread false information. Vaishnav said that the government is working on framing new rules for curbing fake news and AI-generated deepfakes, strengthening the institutional mechanism for that. That's all we could pack in for you in this edition of Nation at 5. Plain Speak coming up next.
It's a summit that will redefine geopolitics. Two leaders, one visit, every moment counts. Every deal, every word, every step decoded.
Your front row seat to a headline-making trip from Moscow
to New Delhi. We've got it covered.
Diplomatic power unfolds this week. Putin-Modi power play. Exclusive, exhaustive, extensive.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh made headlines today for a claim that is now a raging political storm. He asserted that former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru had proposed using funds from the treasury, the taxpayers' money, to rebuild Babri Masjid in Ayodhya, a plan that was thwarted only by Sardar Patel at the time. Rajnath Singh described Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel as the true secularist, the real secularist who prevented what he framed as Nehru's appeasement of a particular sect. Now, the Congress quickly rushed to repudiate this claim, from calling the claim a blatant lie to demanding historical evidence to back it. Congress is going all out to prove that Nehru was a firm believer that public funds should not be used for any religious purpose.